What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be discussing the Chicago Bulls and whether or not they should be getting some rest in terms of the rest of the regular season. There is 2 games to go, about 4 days in between from now to the end of the season, and there's still a lot on the line for the Bulls in terms of the health perspective. And at the end of the day, it is a serious question. We now know officially, thankfully, we've clinched the 9th seed. And because we've clinched the 9th seed, we've gained that home court advantage in that first game against Atlanta, and we will obviously, if we beat them, face the other team that we play in an away game as well. So there's still a lot on the line for the Bulls, especially if the ambition is to make the NBA playoffs. But with that being said, you have to ask the question, what do the Bulls do now? How can they correctly manage this team and ensure that they are at the healthiest they can be heading into the play-in tournament? Well, I think it's safe to say there's a lot to discuss there. But before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and whether or not you believe that they should be getting some well-needed rest before our big game against Atlanta. I believe this game will be in around about 6 to 5 days' time. 6 days, I think, maybe even a week. Something along those lines. Very, very close, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very close. Probably about a week's time, I would say. And a week's rest could be very valuable for the Bulls. And I think a lot of people are going to come into this video without watching the video, or even if they did watch the video and come out of it and say, look, we do need the rest. Rest is essential. Everybody needs rest. If you can give the opportunity to rest, then maybe you should give the opportunity to rest. But I do want to say, as much as I believe rest is very valuable, and I do think out of every other team in the NBA, this broken down Bulls team probably needs the rest, I do think it's not as simple as that. Let's start off by saying this Bulls team leads the league in minutes, the vast majority of them. Kobe White's in the top 10, DeRozan's in the top 2, from my last recollection and watching of things. These guys play a lot of minutes. Vucevic plays a lot of minutes, especially in that last game against the Pistons. There is a lot of minutes going around for the Bulls starters. When Ayo plays, he plays a lot of minutes. When Caruso plays, he plays a lot of minutes. There is definitely a lot of minutes on the bodies of this Bulls team at this point in time, especially the starters. And with that being said, that does take a toll on you. I don't care if you're the youngest superstar in the league or you're the oldest superstar in the league. Playing a lot of minutes will take a toll on your body. You know, LeBron James has been... The reason why a lot of people say LeBron James is incredible in the way that he is because of how durable he has been. Not just the fact that he's doing this at 39 years old. It's the fact that he's playing the minutes that he's playing in and still doing it at the age of 39. That is unprecedented, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I'm not here to talk about LeBron, but I'm just trying to give an example here. Same with DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan is performing at peak levels at this point in time, playing massive amount of minutes and playing almost every game. We're getting to that point where that is pretty close to unprecedented for DeMar DeRozan as well. So all these minutes will take a toll. It will hurt. It will impact players. Some players can shrug it off like it's nobody's business. Other players will really start to feel it. And that is the situations where we have to manage situations accordingly. Here's why I think it might be a bad idea to rest these players for an entire week. Number one, you don't want to come into that game against Atlanta cold. It's as simple as that. Yes, we have the home court advantage. Yes, the rest is well needed. But it's not very often you get a week's break in the NBA. You know, you maybe get 3 or 4 days. Maybe if you're lucky, you can get 5 days. But at the end of the day, you don't necessarily always get that week. You know, that week could be special in many ways. It could really bring you the fresh legs that you need. But it could also send you down a spiral where you're missing your shots to begin with. The Bulls are already not a good shooting team. So to give them a week's break, that could definitely hurt them when it comes to shooting the 3-ball. And especially just, you know, trying to get the right shots, trying to get shots in rhythm. And if you do let a team like Atlanta, for example, who maybe not rest their starters. You know, Trae Young just came back for Atlanta. I'm assuming he's going to have a couple of games just to prepare himself for the play-in tournament. Again, you have to manage that accordingly. So I do think that's there is a reason right there why I feel like having complete and utter rest might not be the way to go. So that's something to keep in mind with. But with that being said, here's what I would do. Let's just say I was the Chicago Bulls head coach and I had the opportunity to, obviously, you know, bring some rest to these players. First and foremost, I would rest these players against the Wizards. There is no good that can come from a back-to-back that is absolutely meaningless. Simple as that. We played tonight against the Detroit Pistons. We won the game. We should be very proud of that. We should be happy. We should move on knowing that we've clinched the 9th seed. What's the purpose of playing these same players, DeRozan, Vucevic, Kobe White, Alex Caruso, and anybody else? What is the purpose of playing them against the Wizards? There's no purpose. So I would instantly say right there, if I was Billy Donovan, if I was the Bulls head coach, I'd rest these players for that game against the Wizards. Give them the proper rest that they need. And then moving into the New York Knicks game, that is when I would probably give minute restrictions for all the players playing out there. For example, I would like to see Kobe White play against the Knicks. I'd like to see DeRozan play against the Knicks. I'd like to see Vucevic play against the Knicks. But at the reality of things, this is not an essential. And therefore, I'd like to see minute restrictions. Maybe play them in the first quarter and that's it. Play them in the second quarter, that's it. Just so they don't completely lose the rhythm of themselves and the rhythm of the game, but also they don't come into that game against Atlanta really rusty as well. So I think that's a key thing. But I think rest will also help for the bench mob. The bench mob, if there's any team right now that needs their bench mob to play well, it's the Chicago Bulls. We can't rely on DeMar DeRozan to step up every single game. We can't rely on Kobe White to step up every single game. We can't rely on Vucevic to step up every single game. If we could rely on them to do it, we'd be a lot further along than the 9th seed. Harsh reality, but that's the reality that we live in at the moment. So if we need anybody to play well, it's the bench mob. So I'd love to see some of this bench mob get opportunities to start. Now, not everybody's going to have that opportunity, you know. For example, Adama Sanogo could potentially start in this game against the Wizards, but he will not be participating in the play-in tournament because he's a two-way contract player. I'm pretty sure he's not eligible to play in the play-in tournament and the playoffs. But guys like Dalen Terry is. Guys like Javonte Green is. Guys like Torrey Craig is. Guys like Javon Carter is. Guys like Onrelu Batim are. All of these players are eligible to play in the play-in tournament and the playoffs. And we need some of them to step up to the table. Step up and make an impact off of the bench in a big game situation. So who is that going to be? I think to give them some confidence, you give them 30 minutes in the next game, you let them go to work, you see what happens. You know, guys like Andrew Funk and Sanogo can have their fun as well, and that's all fine and good. But those players that are eligible to play in the playoffs, play-in tournament as well, give them the opportunity to hopefully gain some confidence heading into that play-in tournament game against Atlanta. So that's what I would do. That's my opinion. There was a funny tweet going around from Casey Johnson when asked, I guess when Kobe White was asked about whether or not he should get minute restrictions or he should just rest or he should play completely heading into the next 2 games. He didn't have an answer. He basically said, hey bro, I just work here. I don't make the rules. That's kind of where he was going with in terms of that answer. He doesn't make the rules and he probably doesn't know what's going to happen in the next 2 games. But that's what I would do. So to sum it up, rest is important. You know, have as much rest as you need. But too much rest can be detrimental. And I think at that point, you need to manage it accordingly. I very much doubt Atlanta's going to rest every single one of their starters heading into their next 2 games in the NBA season. And the Bulls should not be doing the same. But while we have that back-to-back, I would absolutely rest every single one of those players against the Wizards. There is no good that can come from a back-to-back. That is meaningless. And you can get proper rest. Prepare yourself for the next game. Get your slight minutes restrictions. You know, play a half. Enjoy yourselves. The game means nothing. Just try and get into your rhythm. Maybe try to get some shooting, you know, shooting rhythm and stuff like that. Prepare yourself for Atlanta. And then, obviously, second half of that next game, rest them. So let them sit, let them watch the game, enjoy the game, prepare themselves for the Atlanta Hawks. That's what I would do. Do you guys agree? Feel free to let me know in the comments below. You also got to keep in mind, in the last game of the season last year against the Timberwolves, we did see a lot of players rest. We saw Vucevic rest. We saw Levine rest. We saw DeRozan rest. You know, we had that Patrick Williams 31-game night. Everybody loved that from Patrick Williams. But a lot of guys did rest. So will we be seeing the same formula against the Knicks? Maybe we won't see anyone of significance play against the Knicks. We'll have to wait and see. Thank you for watching. Drop a like and a follow. And or subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.